You think you're lazy because you can't get off the couch to do your laundry, but your brain is actually protecting you from something way more terrifying than dirty clothes. Look, I get it. You've been calling yourself lazy for years. You see that pile of dishes, that unfinished project, that gym membership collecting dust, and you think, I'm just a lazy person. But here's what's fascinating. Wow, it turns out most people who label themselves as lazy are actually experiencing something completely different. Their brains are working overtime, just not in the way they think. Today, we're breaking down 8 things that masquerade as laziness, but are actually your mind's sophisticated survival mechanisms. And number 6, that's the one that'll make you completely rethink everything you thought you knew about motivation. First up, you're not lazy, you're overwhelmed. You know that feeling when you look at your messy room and instead of cleaning, you just freeze? That's not laziness. That's your prefrontal cortex going, nope, too many decisions required here. Roy Baumeister's groundbreaking research on decision fatigue shows that what looks like laziness is often your brain hitting the brakes because it's processing too much information at once. Your brain literally cannot compute where to start, so it chooses to start nowhere. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. Eventually, you just close your mouth and walk away. Here's what's crazy. Research consistently shows that people who break overwhelming tasks into smaller, manageable steps complete them significantly faster than those who try to tackle everything at once. But most people don't realize that their laziness is actually decision fatigue in disguise. Second, you're not procrastinating, you're perfectionism paralyzed. This one hits different because perfectionism sounds like a compliment, right? Wrong. It's actually a trauma response disguised as high standards. Dr. Brené Brown's research on perfectionism shows that perfectionists tend to procrastinate more than non perfectionists because they're terrified of producing anything less than flawless. So when you spend 3 hours getting ready to write that email instead of just writing it, you're not being lazy, you're protecting your ego from potential criticism. Your brain is literally saying, if I don't try, I can't fail. And here's the kicker. Perfectionist procrastination actually triggers stress responses similar to those caused by real threats. Your body thinks you're running from a lion when you're really just running from judgment. Third thing, you're not unmotivated, you're running on empty. If you've ever felt like you just can't even after a long day of decisions, there's actual neuroscience behind that. What we call laziness is often just depleted mental resources. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for decision making and willpower, requires significant energy to function optimally. When you've been making decisions all day and suddenly can't muster the energy to make dinner, that's not character weakness, that's literal mental fatigue. It's like your phone hitting 1% battery and going into power saving mode. You're not broken, you're just running on fumes. And this is where it gets really interesting. Research consistently shows that people who maintain stable blood sugar through regular, balanced meals report better focus and sustained motivation throughout the day. Wild how we blame ourselves for being lazy when we're literally just hungry. Fourth, you're not avoiding work, you're avoiding feelings. Dr. Tim Cycle from Carleton University has spent decades studying procrastination, and his research reveals something mind-blowing. Procrastination is actually emotion regulation, not time management. When you scroll TikTok instead of starting that presentation, you're not being lazy. You're managing anxiety, fear of judgment, or feelings of inadequacy. Your brain has learned that the temporary relief of avoidance feels better than the discomfort of facing hard emotions. It's actually a pretty sophisticated coping mechanism, just not a very effective long-term one. Here's what's fascinating. Studies on mindfulness and procrastination consistently show that people who practice sitting with uncomfortable feelings instead of running from them see significant reductions in avoidance behaviors. Your emotions aren't the enemy, they're information. Fifth thing that looks like laziness, you're trauma bonded to chaos. This one's going to sound backwards, but stick with me. Some people unconsciously create chaos and last minute pressure because that's when they feel most alive and focused. If you grew up in an unpredictable environment, your nervous system learned to function best under stress. So when life is calm and you need to do something routine like pay bills, your brain literally can't engage. You're not lazy. You're addicted to adrenaline because that's the only state where you feel competent. People with this pattern often describe feeling dead inside when things are peaceful, then suddenly becoming super productive when there's a crisis or deadline. Sound familiar? Okay, here's number 6, and most people get this completely wrong. You're not lazy, you're grieving. Grief psychology shows us that the stages of grief don't just apply to death, they apply to any significant loss, including the loss of who you thought you'd be by now. When you can't bring yourself to job hunt, exercise, or work on your goals, you might be mourning the gap between your expectations and reality. Your brain is processing disappointment, and grief literally slows down cognitive function. It's like your mental processor is running a heavy background program called What Went Wrong with My Life. This is why people often feel lazy after major life changes, breakups, or career shifts. You're not avoiding your future, you're processing your past. And that takes energy most people don't even realize they're using. Seventh, you're not disorganized, you're neurodivergent. ADHD research shows that what looks like laziness is often executive dysfunction. Neurodivergent brains process motivation and reward systems differently, which means traditional motivation strategies don't work the same way. When neurotypical people say, just do it, they don't realize their brains automatically release reward chemicals for completing tasks. Yours might not. So when you can't start that project, even though you want to, it's not laziness, it's like trying to start a car with a dead battery. You need different strategies and often external sources of accountability to get your engine running. Studies consistently show that people with ADHD are significantly more likely to be labeled as lazy when they're actually just wired differently. Last one, you're not unmotivated, you're misaligned. Career researcher Dr. Cal Newport found that people who feel chronically lazy about their work are often in roles that don't match their natural energy patterns or values. Your brain is smart. It's not going to waste energy on things that don't serve your authentic self. When you can binge watch Netflix for 6 hours but can't answer work emails for 10 minutes, that's not laziness. That's your inner wisdom saying this isn't it. Your motivation isn't broken, it's just pointing you towards something different. Research consistently shows that people working in alignment with their core values report significantly higher energy levels and better focus, even during challenging tasks. Maybe you're not lazy, maybe you're just in the wrong life. So there you have it. 8 ways your brain is actually protecting you when you think you're just being lazy. The overwhelm, the perfectionism, the energy depletion, the emotional avoidance, the chaos addiction, the hidden grief, the neurodivergence, and the misalignment. If you resonated with number 6 about grieving your expectations, you're definitely going to want to check out our video on why your quarter-life crisis is actually your brain growing up. It'll blow your mind how much sense your confusion actually makes. Remember, you're not lazy. You're human, and your brain is doing exactly what it's designed to do, keep you safe, even when safe isn't serving you anymore.